The path to parenthood isn't always a straight one. For LGBTQ+ parents, it can be especially complex, and too often, our stories go untold. This is Proud Conception. I'm your host, Rachel Gresson, and together we're giving voice to the many ways our families come to be. We're diving into how we build our whānau, raise our little ones, and shape a world where they feel seen, safe, and proud. Kia ora e te whānau, and welcome back to Proud Conception. This week's guest slid into my DMs, and boy am I glad she did. This conversation is raw, real, and oh so relatable. My guest this week shares in hilarious detail the step-by-step reality of at-home insemination using a sperm donor she connected with through a Facebook donation group. She takes us through the rollercoaster of responses she got when reaching out for donor sperm, from the weird to the outright offensive, and the immense gratitude she felt when their family building journey finally fell into place. She's candid about how her and her partner chose their donor, the relationship they've built with him, and the way she envisions her child's relationship with the donor in the future, drawing from her own experience of meeting her dad as a young adult. So today on the pod, we're talking to Tayla. Tayla and her fiancé Jess are mummy and mama to 3-year-old Angus. Tayla is a self-confessed yapper, so it's a long chat, but I just couldn't cut any more out. Every moment had me either laughing or learning something new. It's raw, it's funny, and it's certainly not safe for work. Tayla is hilarious. You're going to love this episode. And hey, if you have a story about building your whānau and you'd like to share it, please get in touch with me. You can hit me up on Instagram at proudconception or email proudconception@gmail.com. So, here's Tayla. Enjoy. Just a note before we dive in. At Proud Conception, we share these stories from the parent perspective. We're mindful not to tell our children's stories for them or to share information of the kind they should be the first to learn, understand, and own. It's a delicate balance, but our aim is to honour their privacy while still giving space to the power and complexity of queer family building. Because of that, some details may be left out of the parent's story, or there may be parts we don't explore in depth. Either way, I'm sure you'll still find so much to enjoy in the journeys our guests have chosen to share. Kia ora, Tayla. Welcome to Proud Conception.
Hiya.
It's great to have you on. I'm looking forward to sharing your story.
Well, please stop me. I am a yapper. So
we love yappers and we have plenty of time for yappers. Why don't we start with your rainbow roll call? So who's in your whānau, and tell us a little bit about them.
Well, I mean, in our immediate whānau, we have me. So I'm mummy. We try and encourage mummy, but does it happen? And then we've got my fiance Jess. She's mama and will always be mama. And then we have Jess's mum, who is Gigi.
Love that.
Love it. She didn't want to be Nana. That's too old.
Oh, fair. Yeah, fair.
So we've got Gigi. And that's pretty much immediately in like our city. And then we've got, of course, my parents who live in Australia in Perth.
Yeah. And how old's your kiddo? And what's their name?
He's 3, and he is Angus.
Awesome. 3 is a busy, busy age. They are doing a lot at 3.
Especially boys.
Yes. Yeah.
As I am coming to discover.
Yeah. I have the 2 boys, and I think a radio DJ said it a couple of years ago that like the formula for boys is actually really easy. Like feed them, wear them out, feed them, wear them out. And I was like, I can do that. And, my oldest is 5, the youngest is only 10 months. And so far that is true. So I hope that's the same for you.
I know. Our day literally revolves around what are we going to do to run the child?
Yeah, 100%. We've got to get out of the house, and where are we doing that? Yeah. So how did you and Jess meet, and how did you guys decide to become parents?
Isn't that a story? We met at the greatest bar in the world, Tinder.
Love it. Yep. Tinder has a lot to answer for, doesn't it? In year of our Lord 2025.
Exactly. Where else do modern romances start? So yeah, we met on Tinder in I want to say 2016.
Wow, you guys been together for a while.
Well, this is the funny thing. We met in 2016, went on a few dates, And then I got cold feet and I said, catch you later. Love you. You're a great person. I really, really, really want to be your friend. And then invited her to my 21st birthday and she didn't come.
I mean, you had just been like, peace, we're good.
But I wanted to be friends. And then didn't talk for like 3 years and reconnected in 2019. And I got a little bit intoxicated one night and sent her a video of me just drunkenly being like, if we don't meet now, we're just going to be ships in the night and then we'll never know.
Alcohol also has a lot to answer for when it comes to love stories, right?
But also, how gay of me. Like, it's just so embarrassing. And I can't believe I just admitted that for the world to know.
I love it.
But
no, it's
yeah.
great.
And then from then on, we were just at the hip, like pure lesbian romance in each other's pockets, never left.
Oh, that's
She
so
moved
cool.
in like a month later. So, and then we got engaged 3 months later.
Oh, wow. Yeah, once you know, I guess. And, it is most of the time, it is a timing thing, isn't it? Right? Like maybe it wasn't right in 2016. And then, like you said, it all aligned in 2019.
Exactly. I needed to be closer to 24 for it to work out. I needed to get over 21-year-old.
Yeah, get out the 21, 22-year-old, those drunken nights, solo drunken nights. And then by the time 24, you're so mature at 24, Tayla.
I know. My gosh, I'm ready to settle, which is literally what I told her.
And next thing, are we having a kid? So how did that conversation come up?
Well, we used to have like really long chats in the car because I used to work at a bar. I used to work at Saloon Bar on K Road.
Cool.
Iconic gay spot. Yeah. And she would come to the bar with me sometimes, and then I would finish at like 4 a.m. and I'd drop her home, but then we'd sit in the car from like 4 a.m. to like 7 a.m. just talking.
Yeah, love that. Yeah.
And so, the easiest way to get to figure out if you're going to be in a relationship is just to really lay everything that you want in a relationship flat on the table. And that's what we did. And one of my things was, I want kids.
Yeah, nice.
So if you don't want kids, we need to stop this now because it's really not going to happen. And she was on the fence. She was like, oh, I don't think I'm going to have kids at all. But she just loves me so much that to stay with me forever, she'd have my babies.
You convinced her. She came round.
I convinced her.
And does
it's
she
a good
now
thing I finally produced a cute one.
And does she now think it's the bee's knees, this parenting thing?
Oh, yes. Well, I always knew she'd be like the best mum ever. So to me, when she was like, I don't want kids, I was like, are you kidding?
You'd be fab at it. You'd be so good at it. Yeah.
I know. I was like, you're not just an auntie. Like, you're a mother. Like, I don't see why you're rejecting it so hard. But yeah, so it was from then, and we were like, okay, I'm going to have kids. I really wanted it. So then it was like big discussions of what are we going to do?
And how are we going to do this? Like, what did those discussions look like for you guys? What kind of options did you explore or talk about or rule out?
Well, lots of research. Like this was, I like to say this was before like the mainstream of like two women conceiving a child. Because, all I ever saw like in my research, especially looking on YouTube and things like that, and like looking at these, popular lesbian YouTube couples, like, do you know Rose and Rosie?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
Love them. That's kind of how I figured out that I was queer. Watching their journey, and they were talking about IVF and things like this. The main thing that kept sticking in my head was, I think it's so unfair. I want a child so badly, but I have to pay for one. Like, I just could not be reasoned with. Like it. I think also because I am bisexual, so having had relationships with men where it is actually a risk, like, could I be pregnant? And where I'm now with the love of my life, who is a woman, and I want to be pregnant so bad.
Yeah.
And I just can't.
Yeah.
It feels like something's been like taken from me is the best way to describe it.
Yeah, totally.
So I was very against paying for a child. One, I don't have $10,000 to $20,000, so that's a huge driving factor. Is I'm not even middle class. I'm like your average working class New Zealander.
Yeah, and that's the lower end from what I've heard and seen. Is that it only goes up from there. So it's not a cheap activity at all.
And so it's I wanted the low maintenance way to have a kid. I
Fair.
guess that's what you could call it. And so, lots of research. Everybody joking, oh, turkey baster. I was like, well, there must be some merit to why everybody's saying turkey baster, surely. So did a lot of deep diving and then found people that had conceived via at-home insemination. And then I watched some really strange, like they almost felt like underground documentaries about like private sperm donor kind of thing. It felt like a part of the internet that you shouldn't be on. Like it
The
felt
black
very,
market of sperm
very
donor.
taboo and like, I'm going to turn a corner and see something I really didn't expect. So it was a little bit daunting to be on that side of the internet. Ended up finding Facebook groups. And I was like, wow, how easy. And it was like, New Zealand sperm and egg donors, NZ sperm donors, like donation groups. I literally joined every single group I could think of. I even joined some in Australia. So I was like, you know what? I'll take a flight. And, all the research, it's getting, a bit much. And I'm reporting back to Jess on like what I'm finding. I felt like I was very much overwhelming her with all of this information that I was finding, especially because I have ADHD, so I hyperfixate. So
Hard relate.
figuring out how to make, yes. So figuring out how to make a baby was like my hyperfixation for months.
Yeah.
And so I was telling her, like, the first thing I said was, right, we've got to track our periods. Like,
we got to know when we're ovulating.
Right on that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because I was like, I'm regular as clockwork. You're not as regular. So we need to get that down. I was like, that's the main thing. And she was like, okay, great. Like, we're on the same page.
And had you already discussed at this stage, like who would carry and that kind of thing?
Not overly. Like, we both wanted to experience pregnancy. Like, I think that was the main thing. It wasn't until like later down the track when we finally started seriously like looking that we were talking about who would try first. But yeah, joined a bunch of Facebook groups, and it's like heartwarming yet sad because there's so many people posting almost desperately, please help me.
Yeah.
Please help me.
I want to grow my family and I need help. Yeah.
Exactly. And sometimes there's posts and nobody even likes them or comments. So it's just because there's such a high volume of people wanting this kind of help because it's so inaccessible for your regular average Joe. So I just randomly put up like the nicest picture of us as a couple I could find, make us look lovely,
homely,
friendly. Also, like, because Jess and I are both plus size, I also tried to find a picture that made us look thinner. Which
why did you feel like you wanted to do that?
Because it's an agreement between a donor and the couple. Like, I wouldn't want the donor feeling like he's donating to an unhealthy couple. And unfortunately, we're still in a world that when you see weight on somebody, you instantly think they're unhealthy.
Yeah, health and weight equate. Yeah,
exactly. The world's trying to evolve,
but slowly.
Trying being the operative
we're getting
word.
There. Yeah.
So I just felt like being a bit more appealing, I guess. It's all just a sale, isn't it? Really? Like, please choose me.
It's funny because because my experience is we did go down the fertility clinic route. And so the sale is almost the other side of the coin in my experience, where the donors are like, pick me because, I've got this degree or I've got, this height and weight or this color eyes or whatever it might be. But yeah, your experience is almost the other side of the sale, that like you're kind of selling you and Jess and like, look, we'll be these wonderful parents, like, please help us out.
Yeah, exactly. Because you don't know, like, a lot of these men on these Facebook groups create fake profiles. They don't really have a picture of themselves in their profile picture for their privacy, which is fully understandable. And you don't get that until you start talking to them. So, putting out this post was a big thing because I got an influx of messages.
Right.
I was inundated, and I initially so excited. Like, so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, all of these people want to help me. Like,
yeah, that's an amazing response.
I can pick. Yeah. Until you go into the messages.
What did you find?
Dirty, yucky men asking me for natural insemination. And that was the only way to get pregnant. Could I send them a nude first? They only do partial insemination. So, he'll masturbate in front of me. And then just before he's about to finish, we'll have intercourse. And I'm like, no, thank you.
Yep.
And then it turned into like, now I'm a fetish. Like, this is not what I wanted at all. Like, I feel very uncomfortable, it's discouraging because you're just trying to continue your life.
Yeah,
really.
And you had like completely pure intentions asking for this help. And yeah, someone slides into your DMs with completely unsolicited sexual harassment. You're like, nah, that's not what I called for on a Sunday afternoon. Thanks very much.
Yeah. Or like asking if Jess could be there. And I'm like, this is so gross. Like, this is so wrong. And I kind of left it for a few days because I didn't want to go back. And then we were lying in bed one night and I randomly got a message from this guy. And he said, hi, I saw your post. I'd really like to chat to you about helping you. And I was like, okay. And he was like, I am a sperm donor at a clinic. And he's like, and I would love to help you. Please let me know. I can send my STI checks, my sperm count, my blood work. It's like, I can send it all to you so you know that I'm legit. This was because every message I had gotten was horrible, or they were okay with doing artificial insemination. But now this sounds really horrible, but I feel like you would understand from picking a donor that a donor approached us and I didn't see him as the donor to my child.
Based on like looks.
It's so hard to put into words.
That kind of thing.
It was, I would say, like 70% looks and then like 30% like personality and what he told me about himself. Like, and unfortunately, isn't that just the way the world goes round? Like, it's
so hard.
It's so hard and you feel so awful. And I feel so awful for saying it because I've literally my whole life, I was a makeup artist for 10 years and I've just pushed that everybody is beautiful. And now I sit here and I say, I didn't choose somebody because I thought he was ugly.
But it's also this like hard thing between like the nature and nurture. And I remember having these discussions with my wife when we were using a sperm donor, and it was like, okay, so how much do we actually think the donor conceived children are actually a product of the donor? And how much do we think that they're going to be their own little people walking through the world, and that we as like the nature part of the equation are going to have so much to do with who they are and like their personality and their confidence and all of those other things that go into an actual person. And so it's hard to know all of this in the abstract when you're like making these big life decisions based on like not that much information.
It's just so much to take on, and then you feel so much emotional turmoil over it. But I felt confident in my choice. And Jess and I's choice, and I was like, no, I feel like I will know.
Yeah. There'll just be the sign, like I will know it.
Exactly. And I feel like then this message coming out of nowhere in like a sea of awful messages was just like a light, like a golden beacon. And I was so excited. And we're sitting in bed and I'm like, oh my gosh. And reading his message, we honestly lay next to each other and just it was silence, because it's like the heavy blanket just fell on us and it was like, this is happening. Like you literally found someone, like this is happening. Such a weird moment when you've realized that your life is going to change.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the beginning of the next chapter.
Exactly. So strange. But we were laying in bed, and so then of course we talked about it, up late, talking about it. And then I messaged him and I was like, absolutely, I would love to see your things. I was like, we've never done this before. Please explain.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Like, how else am I meant to proceed? Like, I have no idea. And he just said, well, I'd like to meet you. And we were like, oh, okay.
Great. Yeah. We'd like to meet you as well. I guess we're both sussing each other out at this point, like, are we going to be the right fit?
Exactly. And so it was nice to see that he almost had like a vetting system as well to see if he was comfortable. So we had a Zoom meeting together. And he met us and he just asked us a few questions, basically like, are we healthy? What's our lifestyle? Do we have support, like family support around us? Like, who are we as people?
Yeah.
And it was all of these questions that I would ask him. So it then became like we've had all the different kind of selling. Like I've been selling myself, and then now the donors have been selling themselves to me. And now we're in a business meeting.
So what did you sort
Like,
of
it's so weird.
like learn about him, and what were the key things that you wanted to know about him before you like push the green light on your side? Like what was kind of the deal breakers?
Well, honestly, we didn't really have any deal breakers. The biggest one would probably be like mental health issues, like debilitating mental health issues, just because like I have mental health issues and Jess also has mental health issues that run in her family. So, we don't want to double that up. That's not nice. Poor kid. So that was a big one for me, but also because he was a clinic donor, it really just cleared me of all like, well, he should have nothing wrong with him then, because I'm like, they only really let the creme de la creme donate. Like you got to jump through hoops to donate, really. Well, that's what I've been told anyway.
Yeah, I don't think it's a super easy process. Like they definitely do extensive
Yeah.
testing. So yeah. So he usually donated through a clinic or had donated it through a clinic in the past, but was this the first time he'd donated outside of the clinic, or did you know about how that worked?
No, we were his fourth family outside of the clinic, and he said he's a current donor to the clinic, but the clinic had told him that his sperm will only be used for 10 families.
Yes, yeah.
So
that's their guideline.
It was great to have this is all he can be used for, and we're number 4 on the outside. So kind of already nice straight from the get-go, knowing what the numbers will possibly be of like siblings.
And had he talked about whether he would continue to donate outside of the clinic, or was it something you cared about or not so much?
Well, he said that he would help one more family after us, and that he was done because he was helping these families with siblings.
Right.
So he has always said to us that he will help with a sibling for Angus if we so wish, which going into that, when he said that straight off the bat, it's like the biggest green flag.
Yeah.
Because you're like, yeah.
Yeah, totally. You don't know what you're going to, like, you might have already walked into it knowing that you wanted siblings for Angus, but also you don't know what you might want in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, however many years time. So
Exactly.
It's nice to not fully close that door if that is something you were thinking about.
Yes. And it was important to me that if Angus is to have any siblings, that there be some kind of blood relation for him, because because I carried Angus, if Jess carried the next baby, there would still be a genetic connection to the sibling, so that he never feels out of place or like he's not out part of all of us kind of thing. But yeah.
So you meet with the donor, you're ticking the box for them and they're ticking the box for you. That's awesome. And how do you move forward?
Well, he basically went, when do you want to start? Like literally, when do you want to start? And so we period track it. Let me have a look. What else are you going to do? You got to just go by what the period app says.
Yeah, totally.
And so, but going into this, Jess and I didn't have, so we're meeting with the donor. We're literally talking to him. We don't have ovulation stick. We don't have pregnancy tests. We don't have syringes.
Yeah.
We don't have soft discs. We've got nothing.
Yeah.
And we're like, yes, well, I'm ovulating next week. So let's start next week.
Panic buy.
Because again, I'm going into this being like, I want a baby as easy it is like straight people.
Yeah.
That's all my brain was like, this is going to be easy.
Yeah, I know. I feel you. I mean, the barriers that queer folks have to jump through to have kids, I completely get that mentality of like, I want this to be as easy as possible, because straight people, it can be as easy as possible if they want for them most of the time, fertility issues barring. Had the donor shared like why he wanted to donate, like why he was motivated to help families?
Yeah, so he said that he wanted to donate because he helped some close friends in their fertility journey, and he watched them go through multiple rounds of IVF, dump thousands upon thousands of dollars into this, like basically go broke to not have a child. And he just watched that kill them, and he was like, that's not fair. He just couldn't understand why fertility clinics charge so much. He's like, everybody deserves to have a child. So, and that was so nice to hear that it was such a selfless like response. He wasn't doing it because he had a thing about having lots of children, or, you know, like you look at those Netflix documentary like Man with 1,000 Kids, who was, what are those? I like to call them breeders.
That's probably a good word for it. I never actually could finish the documentary. I started it and I thought, I can't do this. My mental health is not where it needs to be for me to watch this series. Did you watch it?
I watch all of
Oh,
them.
do
I
you?
love them.
And you weren't getting any of those sort of ick vibes from your donor?
No. But then I've been watching the documentaries where these women have been like, and the donor told me this. And I'm like, my donor said the exact same thing to me. But then I'm just gaslighting myself, being like, no,
Yeah.
no,
You've got to like control what you
no,
can
it's fine.
control and then let go of what you can't control as well, right?
It's done now. He's in existence.
Yeah.
I can't put him back. It's over. Like, I've done it. So yeah, so it was nice hearing how he wanted to donate. But we met with him trying to figure out where we're going to start, and then panic buying. It's very awkward going into Chemist Warehouse and asking to see their syringes. And they're like, okay, and you're like, cool, I want a really long one.
The biggest one you
And they're like,
have.
the biggest one you had. And then they show you like these piddly little, like the colostrum ones that I'm like,
Much
what's
bigger.
that gonna do?
Much bigger, please.
Yeah, much bigger, much bigger. And then we managed to find one which wasn't very long, but it was like long enough, but it was a proper like syringe, so it had like the hard tip at the end.
That sounds uncomfortable. No.
Because do they sell this stuff at the chemist at this point? No. This is, I want to say like 2021 when this is, or like 2020 actually, because we were doing this in between the lockdowns.
Right, had that added stress to you too.
And so finding these bloody syringes, and then, do you have pee cups? And they're going, well, what pee cups? I'm like the sample cup.
They're like, what do you need all this for? They probably can't ask
I
that.
know. And I'm like, this is so embarrassing. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So walking out, got our little things.
Wait, what was the other thing you'd said before? A soft disc?
A soft disc.
What's that for?
Because, well, in my research, everyone said put a soft disc in because it's like a period cup, like a diva cup, but not really. It's like thin. Well, you should Google it. But it's like round like this, and it's very like low. And then it's meant to, you just put it up there so that after you put the sperm in, it don't come out.
Okay, sorry, I was not with you. I was like,
Yeah,
wouldn't that defeat the purpose? But afterwards, so you're like, swim, little guys, swim. Just stay up in that direction.
Lock it in.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, there's no towels in this situation.
Yeah.
It's all staying in there. And so didn't have any of those, so I just used my period cup because what else am I going to use? And so then that first go, I've never experienced something so awkward in my entire life. And that's saying a lot, since I've literally just talked about all of these awkward experiences.
It got worse before it got better.
There's, well, one, a random man that I met on Facebook on a page for his sperm is coming to my house, for one.
Doesn't get more awkward than that.
So doesn't get more awkward than that. So when he arrived, we prepped him, and when we were having a catch up, we said to him, we're very tall. I'm 6 foot on a good day, and Jess is like 6'1".
Oh, you are tall.
So
I hope you played basketball.
We're giants. We were netballers.
Competitive code. That's okay.
So we're tall, and we prepped him like, oh, we're very tall, and he was like, oh, I'm not that tall. Like, I think he's about like 5'9".
That's pretty average for a guy, though.
Also,
right?
Yeah, I'll preface this by he's Chinese, so he's a Chinese man. It makes sense because Jess is Māori Chinese.
Oh, cool.
So he wanted some kind of bridge.
Yeah.
To connect our children to her.
Yeah. That must have been a nice little sign as well. When you got his message and then found that out about him, you were like, oh, that's uncannily what we're going for,
And to unfortunately, I hate this because this is what happens. I'm going to double back. And one of the things that we said were we did want a donor that looks like the whatever. So because at this point we didn't know who we're trying, we were both just going to try. So really we wanted a Māori or Pacific Islander donor
Yeah.
because it would just work better with both of our ethnicities. I'm Samoan New Zealander, and Jess is Māori Chinese. So to have Polynesian in there would have been perfect.
Yeah.
We felt like. But those donors are non-existent. They do not exist. It is not something that is a part of their culture, and that is fine. But it was definitely something that was like, wow, there's literally no Polynesian donors.
I think the clinics have the same experience that, Māori and Pacific Island donors are pretty hard to come by, even in a clinic situation.
Very hard to come by.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to hear that.
Which fair enough. And so then we knew if we found somebody that was white, that they'd throw more like my genetics. And so then we started looking at people that looked kind of like me, and then some that kind of looked like Jess. And so, then when we got the message from the donor and he was Chinese, it was almost like, that's great. So then that was really exciting. So we decided to try with Jess first for like a multitude of reasons. One, because she's older, not by much, like a year, but she's the oldest. Her periods are also inconsistent and it could take longer. So we're like, we'll just try with her first. And so that first go, she was up to bat. Let's just say that. It was her job. And so we're giants, he's short. Yes. The first thing he says to us after hi is he goes, oh, you guys are tall. Because unfortunately he walked right into the middle of Jess and I. And we just
looked down on him. He was just right at boob height.
And we're like, hello. Nice to see you. And so then he turns up and he's got a whole backpack. So the whole kit and caboodle.
What does he need in the backpack?
I don't know. What does Dora need with her backpack equipment? Lots of stuff. So he turns up with his backpack and we're all very excited, and it's a little bit awkward and we're like kind of dancing around. And then I show him, I'm like, okay, this is where the toilet is, and this is the spare bedroom. So prior to his arrival, I set up our spare bedroom because he was not doing his business in my bedroom.
No, right. Yeah. Separating the activities here. Yeah.
There's a boundary.
I'm with you.
And so I set it up. I took a towel that was one of my nicer towels that did not have like bleach stains or,
hadn't pilled or whatever it's called. Yeah.
Yeah, like a nicer towel. And I had folded that and put that on the bed. Then I also had the pee cup and the syringe and put it next to the bed, like put it next to the towel. And then I also had the Wi-Fi password.
Everything you could possibly need. Log on and let's get this going.
When they go to donate at a clinic, they're like, what would you like to watch today?
Yeah. No, you're so thoughtful. I love how thoughtful you are and like prepared. You had played it out in your head and you're like, you know what, he's going to need the Wi-Fi password. And I don't want him coming out asking for it once he's already been in there for a few minutes. Like, let's just front load this.
Because that's awkward, you know?
He's like, I need some help. Let's get the Wi-Fi password. Like, we're just going to front load it. Here it is.
Exactly. And I showed him that I'd laid everything. And then he goes, oh, cool. And he puts his bag on the bed and he opens it and he goes, I've got my laptop.
The small screen of the phone is not going to cut it. Oh my God. Have you seen that thing like on Instagram or TikTok, and it's like talking about millennials and how some things are big screen activities and some things are small screen activities? So it's like, I'm an older millennial. Booking a flight is a big screen activity. Like, doom scrolling. It's a laptop job. Thank you. But like, buying something off Instagram that's like a less than $50 purchase is fine. That's a phone. Small screen job. He has in his head clocked this and he's like, this is a big screen job. Yeah. I'm not going to small screen this. This is big screen job.
Exactly. So, he was prepared.
He was prepared.
Very prepared.
You two have that in common though so far. Like he's come prepared. You came prepared. There's nothing left for chance.
And so I've got my laptop. And then it was very cute. So he bought us a gift, which was really cute. So he made origami for us. And he has said, so if you have a baby, it's something from me.
That's actually really, really thoughtful.
I know,
that's
right?
Quite touching.
He made us a little beetle.
That's really cool.
Which was so cute. And we've kept it. And then he went about his business, I guess. So I got him a glass of water and he went down to the spare bedroom and we went to the lounge and we turned the TV up really loud.
Love Island, as loud as you can get it. Yeah, what were you watching?
What were we watching? Grey's Anatomy.
Good choice. Good choice. So unoffensive,
We were in,
like inoffensive. Who doesn't love Grey's Anatomy?
Exactly. Like we're fully in like the binge as well. We just put on Grey's Anatomy and sat there trying not to think about what the man is doing in our spare bedroom.
Love it.
Don't think about it.
Yeah.
Don't look at the clock. Don't think about it.
It's been 2 minutes. How much longer does he need?
Well, exactly. You say that, and I'm going to say... So obviously we didn't get pregnant on the first go. Let's just be real.
Right, yes, because you said Jess was up and then you ended up carrying, didn't you? So, spoiler alert,
Yes.
we knew that was happening.
Spoiler alert. Yes, we didn't get pregnant on the first go. But he, did his business, and then he came out after, an acceptable amount of time, I would say. I don't know.
How long's a piece of string? It was an acceptable amount of time.
Enough that he enjoyed himself enough.
Not too much.
Not too much. Enough.
The perfect amount.
So he came out and I was saying to Jess, I was like, oh my God, he's just going to come out with a cup of sperm. Like, it's just going to be a cup of sperm. And so he came out and he's such a gentleman. He had sucked it up into the syringe already.
Oh. Here you go, ladies. It's ready to go.
So nice. So I was like, thank you. Like, how courteous of you. I can't believe it.
Now, quickly, leave. We've got to use it before it gets
go.
cold.
Exactly. And so then that awkwardness is done and he goes and we say toorah. And then Jess and I are left staring at each other, holding a syringe of sperm. So then it's like to look at each other, to the bedroom.
Not on the couch. Like, yeah.
Not on the couch. But also like, it's almost like having sex for the first time again. Pretty much. Like...
Does this go here?
Yeah, it's so awkward. Yeah, like, sorry, love, drop your knees a bit more. Like, it's just so good. No. Scoot your bum forward.
Hey, that's just like going to the OBGYN though, right? They're like, drop your knees, scooch it forward, don't mind the rustling of the paper underneath your bottom.
Don't mind it. But it's just so awkward because she's now laying on the bed, like poo bearing it with just a t-shirt and no pants. And then I'm fully dressed, kneeling.
The you fully dressed part is what's funny. But like, why would you not be fully dressed as well? Like, it would be weird if you hadn't been fully dressed, but then like...
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I took my jumper off. Like, I was prepared.
What a lady.
But like, what a lady. But like, I'm fully dressed, kneeling, holding, looking at her. Ready? So,
and do we count down?
Sorry,
are we counting down at this point? 10, 9, 8. Like, what are we doing? It's a lift-off. Like, it's a Challenger launching into space.
It's so... And then you're like... Because it's so awkward, like, she's not fully relaxed. There's some tension.
Yeah.
So, you don't... And you're like, this isn't good. You've got to be relaxed. This isn't how babies are made.
No.
Like, just try and relax. Just breathe, please. And so, like, then... You put it in, I guess. And because now this, I'm so sorry, poor listeners. It's going to get graphic for a minute, and my partner loves me to death, and I'm not going to describe anything. But we talked about the syringe was not long enough, right? So, and then obviously, like, should probably go in further because that doesn't feel like it's.
We're at the opening.
We're
at the opening. Yeah.
We're at the opening. We need to go over the hump. You
want to go for as far as you want to shorten their swim time. You know what I mean? Like, let's get up there as much as we can.
Exactly. Like, I should have it like touching the cervix for like direct.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So it's very short, and so then with the force of when you push the plunger down on a syringe, you got to hold the dongles and then push. Yes.
Yes.
So obviously I'm pushed. It's soft tissue, so there's like no give. So you've got to, it's hard. So now I've got two hands involved. So I'm trying to create resistance. And so then I push. But when you're pushing a syringe and there's resistance and then all of a sudden it just goes. So it just went and then it went away. And I had to find it and pull it back out.
The whole thing, just all in.
It was small. No. went away.
You're fishing it out with a little hooked over finger. Like, whoop.
Come back.
She's like, what are you doing down there, love? You're like, what are you doing up there?
What are you doing? And then, of course, like, because it's not, this is so disgusting. I'm so sorry. This is, close your ears, but this is the real, honest truth. Because it's so short and we haven't put it all in far enough. Like, it's a good distance that, you know, it didn't go in far enough. So then, as I've grabbed, oopsies, and
Pulled it
pulled it back out, because you think, squirt it in, pull it out,
Yeah.
squirt it and pull it out. No, out comes the sperm. No, because the syringe didn't go in far enough. Okay. Trial and error.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
very graphic, but like,
I thought it would be as simple
how
as
else
in
were
it
we
goes,
to know?
but yeah, I guess there is more to it than this. Yeah.
There's more to it, especially when you do not have the correct tools. And what is a lesbian without tools?
A lesbian needs her tools, that's for sure.
You know, with handy, got my toolbox.
How was Jess
I just
after
didn't
this
have-
experience? Was she traumatized? Were you laughing?
Awkward. It was awkward. Like, it was. I don't think we really looked at each other, really. We're just like, no. Like, that's okay. No. So, whatever.
That was a write-off.
So then
That's a write-off.
That was a write-off. We were learning. But
Yeah.
we still then attempted with this shoddy syringe. I learnt better the next few times. Thank you very much,
Nice.
Lee. And obviously nothing happened. I don't think the sperm was going in far enough. You know, we were doing the same things of like legs up against the wall, like bum under your pillow, put the cup in. The babies are conceived from sex. Sex is pleasurable, so you should be getting off because it helps.
Yeah, it releases
But it is,
endorphins. Yeah.
yeah, you know, it's the body's natural response. But could you think of anything worse to do after injecting your wife with a random man's sperm than being like, come here, baby?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's not giving romantic vibes. No.
So it would be do the insemination, and then I'd be like, have fun, my love. And I'd close the door. Be like, you do what you got to do. Just make sure you feel relaxed after closing the door. Because it's not sexy.
Yeah. Totally.
And so it just, there was a lot of awkward moments. We tried, I would say, consistently for like 8 months with Jess. Just Jess. Yeah. Like, we were trying for a good long time. And this is all with the shoddy, like all of the shoddy syringes and all of that kind of stuff. You know, we're making the best out of a really not great situation. So we're doing that. And then after about those 8 months, beginning of like 2021, we said, okay, let's do it, both of us at the same time. And nothing happened.
Can I ask a really logistical, practical question? If you're both going at the same time, does he need to come twice, or he just comes once and you split it? Like, how does that work?
So we were lucky at that point. Our periods were literally a week off. So I would ovulate 1 week, and then the next week Jess would ovulate. So he was coming. He was coming 4 times in a fortnight.
Pun intended.
Pun intended. Pun intended.
Wow,
so like
he's
we'd
just
get him
hopping
in.
around all the time.
It's great. Yeah. And so we had him come like the day of ovulation, if we could, and then 2 days after ovulation.
Wow.
To give the egg time.
Yeah.
So if we didn't catch it on that first one, then it's made its way.
Yeah.
And then hopefully this one will get it.
And he was happy to just keep coming back to the house this many times? Like, this is, if he came for those 8 months. He suggested it. Wow. That's amazing.
He suggested doing it twice in an ovulation. So we followed his recommendation. And so he was happy to do it.
He's up with the play with the female's reproductive cycle.
Yeah, he was very switched on. And there was only a few times where he was like, oh, I can't come for the second one. And we're like, that's okay. Like, you know, normal human,
he's busy.
Whatever. But that was great. And it's also great in the fact that paying for sperm or eggs in New Zealand is illegal. So couldn't pay him.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you you can't pay for the sperm, but did you compensate him in any way for, he's come to your house now 24 times or whatever over the space of a year or something. So was there anything like that?
Yeah, so we we'd literally just give him petrol money. We'd fill his tank. So if he came, in that fortnight, then we'd give him like $80 to get him a full tank of gas, and that's all he asked for.
Sweet.
It was great. But over this time, like, we're trying and we're getting to know him a bit more, and it's getting quite comfortable. Like, him coming over is just like a friend coming over almost. With still a bit of awkwardness, not gonna
But
lie.
we're finding our rhythm.
Exactly. You gotta find the humor in these really just awkward situations.
Did he have or does he have a family or anything? Like, does he have his own kids?
No, single. And his parents live in China. His parents don't know that he does this, but he's happy, and he said that he was happy to like meet the kids when they're 18.
Yeah.
He
How did
even
you guys
said,
talk about that, in terms of staying in contact and things?
we said that we would like, if we had to have a known donor, it was important to us, but that I wanted to be able to reach out to him when Angus was 18 to, this is your donor, which he fully 100% agreed with. And he also said very kindly that, because he's a maths teacher, I think. So he's a maths teacher, and he was like, oh, well, if at any point and you're still living in Auckland, if they need help with their maths homework, I can help. And it was just so lovely, like, oh, I can help.
Yeah.
Like, so cute. It's not going to happen, but so cute. So kind.
Not going to happen.
There's a boundary.
Yeah, not going to happen because you guys had sort of thought about what boundaries you wanted with the donor, and it's sort of like, this is our immediate family, and he'll always sit on the outside as a donor. That if and when Angus is interested in getting to know him, the option's there, but that's sort of that boundary.
Yeah, exactly. Like, just got to be firm with that's where we stand. But he was always very kind like that. So,
And did you guys have some sort of written agreement? I think you'd mentioned that you'd, drafted something with him. Yeah,
so I wrote up just a really quick, like, you agree to not have any parental rights to the child. You agree to stay in contact and be reachable. That was the main thing. It was like, be reachable. You don't have to message me all the time. Like, I don't have to message you. But if I message you, I would like a response, especially if it's to do with, like, the child.
Yeah. Don't move country and don't give me your new, email address or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. And I've only got him on Facebook, but I think that's pretty reliable. Like, I actually see, like, we're still friends on Facebook now, and I see that he's constantly like active and stuff. He doesn't post, but I can see on Messenger and things like that he is active, which is just nice. It's like, oh, he's just there, like, if I need to reach him. And basically, just outlining what the roles were. And what it was, that it was just a nice child, blah, 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 blah. It was so casual because we just had so much trust in him, which, call it naive, call it, whatever. But you just got to go with your gut. And, like, yes, you see all of these documentaries with the, like, kids with 1,000, like, 1,000 kids to the same dad and all of that kind of stuff. And it's crazy. But this is the risk you run when you do black market, like, things like this. It's a real grey area, and it needs more research, and it does need more restrictions and things like that. Absolutely. But for our country, anyway, it's so small that it would be very hard for there to be. I mean, I know that there is a donor. Somebody in the comments is going to be like, but do you remember Tauranga Tony?
Tauranga Tony. Mm-hmm.
I'll be like, yes, I know Tauranga Tony, whatever. He messaged me.
Oh, did he? He was one of them that had reached out to you?
And I said, no, because I know how many kids you got.
That's so interesting. Did you, were you able to, Google your donor or, search the groups that you were in for his name and see if anything came up like that?
He had never posted, never commented. So it was fate, I guess.
Yeah, it's cool.
But, it's just a risk to have my family. It was a risk that Jess and I were willing to take and to bear the responsibility for. So if it comes out in 10 years that Angus actually has 50 siblings, then I will bear that weight and that responsibility that, my bad. I could have done more. I could have, I could have gone through a fertility clinic. It could have been more controlled. But I have my child, and my child is happy and healthy. You know?
We make the best decisions we can with the information we have at the time. And that's really all we can do. We can't extrapolate out to something that we don't know is going to happen.
Exactly. And it's, Jess and I already discussed that it's going to be a conversation as he gets older, gets into teenagedom anyway, that you are donor conceived. So you need to be aware that if you're with a girl, if you're with somebody and you know that they are also donor conceived and they are of the same ethnicity as you need to really ask a hard question. You know, it makes me feel horrible that I'm now giving him more mental prep. But again, you got to weigh what matters the most. Yeah, he's got to have an extra conversation with somebody, but isn't that good that he then has to have this conversation, which would lead to an easier conversation about consent?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, you know, we're teaching him to be able to have, because of his situation, have these tough conversations straight off the bat. Like, that's just the way I think about it.
No, I think it's great.
From all of my research, especially like after having Angus, I got very into like people that are adopted or don't know a biological parent. Like, I didn't meet my biological father until I was 22. So that's trauma of itself, that I'm now meeting my father as an adult and he's still, you know, it's weird. And then like my mother was adopted and I'm like, well, that's trauma. Like, you were taken from your original family and placed in a new family. Like, you've lost something but gained something on the same breath. Like, that's traumatic, no matter what way you put it. And then watching lots of documentaries about donor conceived children and that how they feel. Because actually on Netflix, the one I watched it's the Australian one of like, You Can't Ask That.
Okay.
Have you seen
No, I
that?
haven't seen that yet.
So it's on Netflix. It's called You Can't Ask That. It's like Australian based, and they have one on same-sex parents, and it's like the children of same-sex parents. And so I watched this as well, of like the kids talking about it, and there was this one woman who was very anti. So she was not pleased with her dads for concealing like her mother, and that she didn't know, and she felt like something had been taken from her. A lot of these are also like the documentaries I've watched have come from like America, where there are anonymous donors. So like this is all coming from people that literally have no idea. They cannot find out. Like, they're not allowed to find out who their biological parent is, which is traumatic. Like, it is your right to know what you are made up of. Like, it's any child's right to know who that person is. Like, before I met my dad, I felt like there was half of me missing, because I didn't have a face to him. I didn't know who he was as a person. I didn't, you know, like, I thought I was just so much like my mum. And then I met him and I was like, so much makes sense. Like, where I felt so lost, it's literally right in front of me, and that's because I'm like him in this way. And so to not be able to build that connection with a biological parent that some children need. Some children don't need it, but some do. And to not be able to do that shouldn't be allowed. So how are we then going to talk to our children about them being donor conceived? You know, it's like Angus will always, the discussion will be, you can find out who he is when you're 18.
So how will you approach this with Angus?
Well, my thing is, like, mine stems from my mother and how she dealt with me asking questions about my father, is that she told me just enough about him, but it still left me wanting questions. And then I asked her to see him all the time. And she went, you're not ready. Because I wasn't emotionally ready. I wasn't emotionally mature enough to handle what meeting him would feel like. And so, yeah, I didn't meet him. My mother gave me the opportunity at 18. Do you want to find him? And at 18, as newly fledged adult, I said no, because my mother had kept reminding me, I don't think you're emotionally ready for this yet. You need to be a little bit older to be able to handle and process the emotions. Like, you're still a kid, which was great. Like, I'm so glad that she did it that way, because it really meant that when I did meet him, I didn't meet him with rose-colored glasses. I met him as a person, and not as like my father that I thought I needed. He's
And
just
so
a
that's
person.
what you think you'll do with Angus. You'll say you can meet him when you're 18 and then
Yeah,
sort of help guide him through the like maturity needed
yeah,
to have those conversations.
exactly. Like age appropriate conversations for when he's asking, but he needs to understand that he needs to be in the right headspace and have the emotional maturity to deal with the feelings that this will bring up for him. You know, he might get feelings of grief because he never knew this man and he wished that, he's having such a good connection with him that he wished that he had him his whole life. That's so natural. But at 13, he cannot deal with that at all. Like, that'll send a 13-year-old through the ringer. Like, way to make it more traumatizing for them. Like, here are all of these adult emotions that have just been thrust on you. Deal with it with your brain that's not fully formed. It's just too much. You'll get the opportunity. You just have to grow up a little.
Did it? Oh yeah, I meant to ask. Did it take straight away with you, or did you have to do a couple months for it to take with you as well?
We like to say that with all of the bad syringes, that was not us trying. Like it was just we were doing it for funsies, like because there was nothing working at all. Like I don't think it was even going to the right place. Like it felt like it was a waste of time. And then of course Taryn started Hapu Helpers and that got quite big. We bought her like $90 kit thing when she first started the business, like before Hapu Helpers got as big as it did. And so we bought that kit with the long syringes, the soft tips, the soft discs, the ovulation sticks. So then kind of mid 2021, we got serious, really serious. Like we're having a baby. And so we went, we're not doing it both of us. That's too dangerous. We're just going to try with Jess. And then it was always in the understanding that we'll try with Jess. If at any point you don't want to continue, you just have to tell me. If you don't want to do the trying anymore, that's okay. That's fine with me. And so it was like, God, just after the new year, I would say, of 2022. And she just didn't want to try that month. She was like, I'm tired. I don't want to do it. And I went, sure, I'll do it. Like, it's all good. I'll do it. He was definitely conceived on that first insemination.
That's incredible.
Jess and I both said that she put the syringe in and she said to me, that feels like it's in the right spot. And I said, it does.
That's incredible.
And so then he came over again, as I said, 2 days later. So that insemination was just for fun.
Yeah. But you guys just knew it. It just clicked.
Yeah. And so I sent my mum a picture of my legs up in the air. And then, of course, 2 weeks later, she got a phone call from me.
Easy.
I know. It's a bit insane. But yeah, so I'm just as fertile as my mother.
Love it.
And just get pregnant at the drop of a hat, which, as a bisexual woman that has had a lot of sex with men, good Lord, aren't I lucky then? Like, honestly, finding out I was pregnant made me go, holy crap. I could have been, like,
I'm just
I
glad
could have had
timed
so
it
many
differently.
whoopsies.
Yeah. Timed it differently on those other occasions.
Safe sex kids, but like mistakes were had.
Yeah.
It was just so insane. We like to say that he was an accident because it wasn't serious.
Yeah, the first time with you as well. Like it was just.
Yeah.
That's so good.
But, bang, pregnant. Great.
So he's only 3
Lost
now,
my shit.
right? So he's probably not
Yeah.
asking too many questions about like where he's come from. But I'm not sure if he's at daycare or anything. But by 3, like often they're going to daycare and they're seeing other families and they're seeing, their little friend Sierra getting picked up by mummy and daddy, and they're starting to like make sense of the world. Are you getting any questions from him yet, or like do you guys front foot it? Do you start talking about your whānau to him in advance, sort of thing?
Well, he's always been daycare because he's in daycare full time. His teachers have always been so amazing with us and like embracing that we're a queer family, and it's always just been so great. Like it's so nice on Mother's Day to get 2 things. Like it's so special. We've moved at the beginning of this year, and so he had to swap daycares, and this daycare was really good, and they, with his language getting better, they started encouraging him like mummies and whatever. And so we'd arrive at daycare, both of us, and he'd go, two mamas.
Yeah.
And so
Cute.
that was really nice that he was so excited, like counting us that he's got two mamas. And then as a joke, because Jess and I just don't take parenting very seriously at all, we just started saying, how many daddies do you have? And he'd go, 1, 2, 3, as any kid does, because he's just counting. He's liking his numbers and he's just counting. He doesn't know. He has no idea. He's just going, well, I got two mamas, so I might as well just count 1, 2, many daddies.
Yeah.
And so then we go, no, you got 0 daddies. And so it became a joke of like, no, you got 0 daddies, no daddies. And because he would obviously see like the dads come pick up the other kids, and so he'd be saying daddy. Sometimes he says, I want daddy. I feel like people are going to judge me for this, but we just go, huh? A what? Like, we really treat it like it's a foreign word in our household. Like, what is that? Like, both Jess and I don't really have, like, I have a stepdad who was basically my father, but we don't have present fathers. Like, we're both, dad went out to get milk and didn't come back. So we don't really have that fatherly connection. So it's not a big stretch for us to be like, oh, dad, I have no idea what that is.
But also, I think
so
you
that's
can't
how
go
we
too
just
wrong
go
with having like a playful approach to like parenting in general, but also a playful approach, especially when he's 3, to these kinds of questions and conversations. Like, you do want to keep it light and age appropriate, and if the rest of your whānau sort of vibe is jokey and fun and light, like, why would you change that vibe when you're talking about this? You know what I mean? Like, you want to keep it
exactly
authentic.
So we joke about it. We really joke about him having 0 daddies, but now it's actually funny. We ask him, Angus, how many daddies you got? And he goes, no daddies. So proud that he's got no daddies. And we're like, yeah, you got no daddies. He's happy.
Yeah.
It's just a big joke.
So thinking about that, when you talk to people who want to build their family, or if there's people listening to this podcast who want to build their family, what kind of advice do you give them when they ask you, like, how'd you build yours, and what advice do you have for us as we start our journey?
Really ask her, are you ready? Like, especially a queer family. Again, I went into it wanting to have a baby as easy as straight people, and having gone through this journey, it's of course it's not as easy as straight people, but there's so many layers. Like, the amount of emotional turmoil I went through and Jess went through, and nobody ever tells you about that. So it's like, are you ready? Because this is a massive, you could be stuck in that, not getting anything, not gaining what you want, but still having to try for years. Like, are you ready?
Yeah, the trying to conceive period is hard.
Exactly. Like, the trying to conceive period for any kind of family is hard, but it's especially hard for queer people because we're doing it in such roundabout ways. Like, I always tell people, I'm like, wow, 3 people make a baby. So, like, I don't know how to make it easier than that. But I ask them, are they ready? And then again, I'm just brutally honest. I feel like there's so much about parenting and pregnancy and conceiving that even still when you're doing your research, people still only show the happy side of it, and they never want to tell you what the actual stuff that's happening, like, what's happening to you as a person, what's happening to your relationship, what's going to happen in your families. Like, everything changes. So it's just being ready for that as well.
And it sounds like you would recommend to somebody the sort of like Facebook known donor, random but known donor path. Like, it sounds like it's been successful for you guys, and you have a brilliant whānau and a great relationship with the donor. So it sounds like you would recommend that.
Yeah, I've sent people the pages. I'm no longer, it was the most freeing moment when I left the sperm donation groups. Like, one, it was amazing to leave because they are awful places to be. Awful. They're toxic, and like any Facebook group, there's bad admins and it's just messy. So that was nice to leave. But I recommend to people, like, if this is the route you want to take, this is how I did it. But I get really real with them because I'm like, Jess and I were so lucky. Like, I tell this story and it seems like everything just fell into place. We just got everything that we ever wanted, and, which we did. We 100% did, with not with minimal effort, really. Like, I did a lot of research, but like, I just put out a Facebook post. Like, that's all I did. Where other people, as I said before, like, putting out Facebook posts and nobody likes them and nobody comments. So it's disheartening. Our journey it's basically heartbreak from the beginning, because you don't know if you're going to be the lucky one, and you just got to hope. Like, I tell people, please find a known donor. Like, amazing if a friend can help you, amazing if like a brother, can, somebody with sperm can help you.
Yeah, totally.
Free the sperm. But, it's a great journey, but it's a hard journey. And Jess and I are incredibly lucky, and there are not many people like us that just kind of got lucky.
It just clicked. It just all clicked, and it was meant to be. And hey, you don't want to fight that,
exactly.
Right? If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And now you have this beautiful whānau, and you get to live every day grateful for that, and that's awesome. Tayla, thank you for your time. I have loved talking to you. You are an absolute riot. Thank you for sharing your story on Proud Conception. The listeners love it. I love it. We will have to get you back for more. Thank you for your time.
Don't listen to this without headphones. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Proud Conception. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider passing it on to someone you think might connect with it as well. Don't forget to follow the show and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And come hang out with us on socials. We're just getting started on Instagram. We're at Proud Conception Pod. Until next time, take care, and let's keep building a world where our little ones feel seen, safe, and proud.